Teyvat, a land of gods, dragons, and endless mystery. Once, the dragon ruled in peace, until a stranger from the beyond the star arrived, bringing power, war, and corruption. The dragon rebelled twice. The angels were enslaved and punished. Then the land itself was scared by celestial nail. That was the brutal war of vengeance, and its aftermath was about to set the stage for the Archon War. Today, we unravel what happened after that cataclysm, and how the heavenly principle reshaped the world. Last time, we looked at the first era, when dragons and angels resisted the gods' rule. Now it's time to see how their downfall paved the way for the Archon War. Hello everyone, I'm Panagon Vanimore, your dragon cyborg friend, and welcome back to Chronicles of Teyvat, second episode. As always, remember Genshin lore is fragmented, scattered in quests, books, and theories, but together we piece it into a story. With that said, let's dive in. When the war of vengeance ended, Nibelung was slain, and perhaps even the Moon Sister with him. But the victory came at a cost. The abyss spread across Teyvat, forcing the heavenly principle to rain down celestial nails to cleanse the corruption. These nails purified, but also devastated the land, leaving civilization struggling to survive. In Inazuma, a great flood swallowed most of the land, leaving behind the island we know today. Enkanomiya sank into the deep, where its people encountered a bishop lurking in the dark. With help from Istaroth, ruler of time, they built the Dainaishi Mikoshi to create a light and push back the bishop. But trapped beneath the sea, they believed that celestial will had sealed them away. Corrupt nobles soon twisted fate into control, installing sun children as puppet ruler. Meanwhile, on Surumi Island, the Thunderbird arrived, worshipped by survivors of the Nail Impact, though the creature itself cared little for them. In Liyue, the young god Morax witnesses the fall of a solar chariot in Dunyu. Some said it was a star, others claim it was a real vessel, repaired by tribesmen. When a celestial nail struck, it shattered the region, destroyed its civilization, and opened it underground. Survivors migrated to Chenyut Vale, leaving behind mystery that remained unsolved. Sumeru, Greater Lord Rukkhadevata, and King Dishrath, son of the sky, came into existence. They met a fallen angel, likely Nebu Malitkara, who told them to tell of vengeance war. But a celestial nail turned half of Sumeru into a desert. The dragon Apep retreated there, and when corrupted by forbidden abyssal knowledge, it poisoned the land. Its withered influence still scars Sumeru today. Fontaine, the hydro sovereign, withered in the primordial sea. From this loss, Naberius, ruler of life, created Ergeria, a new art for the sea. But with no new hydro dragon able to be born, Fontaine's fate became tied to Ergeria existence. In Mondstadt, survivor fleeing snow, an airship founded Saul Vindadnir atop a great mountain, planting the white tree that would later become the frost-bearing tree. The princess of this kingdom foresaw disaster, and a prophecy came true when Celestial Skyfrost Nail shattered the land. The civilization froze to death, leaving behind ruins, the frost-bearing tree, and a tragedy of lost hope. Natlan, the war at work, sealed call, a dragon sovereign beneath its volcano. His AI creation, the 13th Sovereign, and Kokol Khan sought to forge a new moon, but were out when their master joined Nibelung in battle. After Nibelung's fall, Silcold himself was corrupted, destroying angelic civilization and plunging Natlan into savagery. One surviving angel became the Lord of the Night. Then a celestial nail fell from the sky. Canria, born in the aftermath of Salvinder's fall, Canria became the first godless nation. A decision that would have dire consequence centuries later. The Heavenly Principle emerged wounded after the war. Unable to fully control Teyvat, they created Geonosis with the help of the Second Wu Came. Before launching the Archon War, however, Teyvat entered a brief age of peace. In Mondstadt, the god Decarabian, god of storm, founded a massive circular city with a tower in its center, while Boreas, king of the North Wing, gained divinity and froze the land in endless blizzard. To protect his city from the blizzard, Decarabian created a storm shield around it. In Liyue, Morax raised Montagne to calm the sea and slain many sea monsters, including one beast known as Bayou. He then allied himself with Geijong, the Lord of Dusk, to found the Guilty Assembly. To protect it in case of invasion, the Adepti gods illuminated beasts, bound by contract to protect Liyue, created Gizong Ballista. In Fontaine, Egeria wept her first tear, creating the Oceanid. Egeria bestowed a task to seek an understanding of the diverse array of species, and to love every creature. To fulfill her desire, they dispersed it across the water of the entire continent. The Oceanids soon envied human, and longing for life on land. Unable to refuse the demand of her follower, Egeria took the water from the primordial sea, and gave them human form. For Celestia, this act of life was a blasphemy, and thus sentenced her to be sealed. A prophecy then arose that Fontaine will one day drown, its people returning to the sea to cleanse our sin. And so ended the fragile peace. With Geonosis in place, the Heavenly Principle prepared for the next conflict, the Archon War. To realize their vision of a prosperous humanity, the Heavenly Principle created 7 divine seats, each tied to a Geonosis. Any god who claimed one of these seats would become an Archon, gaining greater divine power. But this gift also sowed chaos. Some gods fought for power, others defended their land, and a few simply wanted to protect their people from devastation. Thus began the Archon War, a conflict that engulfed every corner of Teyvat. Mondstadt became an icy wasteland. Under the god Boreas, whose blizzard made life unbearable, only those inside the stone wall of the Caribbean city could survive. Yet even there, people lived trapped and fearful, worshipping their god out of obligation rather than devotion. Among them was Gungnir, daughter of a clan chief. Refusing to accept the Caribbean tyranny, she led our clan in an escape attempt, only to face certain death in the blizzard. Desperate, she prayed, and her cry was answered by a spirit of the wings, Barbados. With the Gungnir clan fate, Barbados gained form and power. Soon he found another ally. A young bard from the city who also dreamed of freedom. together with Gunneer people, and surprisingly the Caribbean weary lover Amos. They raised a rebellion. The tower fell, the Caribbean was slain, but victory came at a cost. Both the Bard and Amos did perish. Barbados ascended as the animal Archon, honoring his fallen friend by taking the form of the Bard. Whereas, feeling unfit to guide humanity, withdrew, later becoming one of Barbados' 4 wings. Barbados reshaped Mondstadt with gentle wings, teaching his people the value of freedom. Yet, wary of becoming another tyrant, he refused to rule, instead choosing the path of a wandering bard. In Gali Plain, Morax and Gizong, the god of dust, ruled together in harmony with the Adepti, with their people by their side. But when war reached Liyue, tragedy struck. Gizong was killed in battle, forcing Morax to evacuate survivor of Fontaine to the west, where he found Liyue Arbor. Morax crushed every rebel god that challenged him. He defeated Osial and the Chi of Yor by summoning massive stone pillar. Thornacre's blood lingered, spamming demon. To combat this, Morax found the Yaksha, but the corruption consumed most of them in time. Marcosius, the stove god, gave out his divinity to suppress the curse, while weaker deity, like the goddess of salt, perished altogether. In the end, Morax stood as the sole survivor, claiming the Geogenesis and becoming the Archon of Liyue. The history of the Archon War in Inazuma is less clear. The twin sister Makoto and Ai ruled as the Raiden Shogun, with Ai serving as her sister Kagemusha, body double. Meanwhile, Orobashi, once defeated by Morax, descended into Economia, liberating its people from the corrupt Sunchild regime. With its guidance, they returned to the surface and built Watatsumi Island, but its poor resources drove them to seek new land. In under pressure, Orobashi led an invasion on Yashori Island. Ai responded swiftly, leading a brutal campaign that ended up with Orobashi dead. Makoto then claimed the Electrogenesis, officially becoming Inazuma Archon, while Ai continued by her side as protector and executioner. Here, 3 gods share power peacefully: King Dishret, Greater Lord Rukkhadevata, and the goddess of flower, Nebu Malikara. But harmony did not last. Rukkhadevata distanced herself. The goddess of flower perished, and Dishret's pursuit of an ideal world unleashed forbidden knowledge, birthing Elazar and spreading their withering. Rukkhadevata intervened to save his people, sacrificing much of her power and even regressing into a shell-like form. Dishret ultimately gave his life to end the calamity, leaving Rukkhadevata as the sole ardent Archon. Yet, she ruled only the forest. The desert people never accepted her authority. In Sumeru, the Archon War was less about gods fighting and more about endless human conflict in the sand, which finally ended with the founding of Eru village. When the war began, Ichiria, creator of the Oceanid, was sealed for his sin of reshaping life. Into this vacuum came the god king Remus, who founded the golden nation of Remuria. Blessed by prophecy yet cursed by fate, Rimu sought to avert its fatal downfall. Guided by the seer Sibylla, he created the Phobos, a power meant to grant eternal life for his people. Instead, it destroyed Remuria in a single night, sinking the empire beneath raging wave. Rimu's perished. Sila, guardian of Egeria, was in prison. Celestia then reinstated Egeria, granting her the hydrogenesis and the seat of Archon. With new authority, she founded the fortress of Metropide to hold the guilty, and gave Fontaine its next chapter. Even though Celestia made her Archon, they didn't forgive her, and the prophecy was still ongoing. In Natlan, the Archon War barely touched the land. Instead, its fate was shaped by an ancient struggle between dragons and humans. After being oppressed by the dragons for thousands of years, a brave warrior named Xabalanque united the tribe, wielding a crown of power given by the Lord of Night. He defeated Selkold and the 13th Sovereign, ending dragon rule. Without slain in battle, Xabalanque rose again from the flame, ascending as a Pyro Archon. With borrowing the power from Renova, ruler of death, after a bargain, he established a system to ensure Natlan will endure, even allowing mortal to ascend to Archonhood in the future. Thus, humanity claimed its freedom, and Natlan's fate was secure. And so, the Archon War reshaped Teyvat, leaving each nation with a god, a genesis and scar that remain to this day. But this is only part of the story. With regions like Chesnaya and now Nod-Krai yet to be fully revealed, Genshin lore continues to expand. The mysteries of the Archon War are still unfolding, and we may yet learn how deep Celestia came truly go. And a lot already happened in the Archon War. It's just there is too much to tell everything in that video. So that's where we leave things for now. Next time we cover the Cataclysm, the calamity that shook all of Teyvat 500 years ago. So what do you think? Did I miss any key detail about the Archon War? Do you have your own theory about what already happened? Let me know in the comment. I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you enjoyed this, don't forget I'm also working on another lore series, Chronicles of Teyvat from the Trail Universe. So check that out too. And if you want to hang out live, I stream most night at 7 PM EST. Thanks for watching. May the Archon protect you. Found Dragons offline.